All right, everyone. Good morning. We're so happy to have you join us for our first of the year Community Connects meeting. I say first of the year because we will hold a couple other meetings throughout the year to coincide with key initiatives that are happening within our digital inclusion ecosystem. So keep a lookout for future invites. For your awareness, we are recording today's call, and we will share the recording along with the slide deck in a follow-up email, probably early next week. For those of you whom I have not yet met, my name is Rhia Pape. I am the new-ish Executive Director of SA Digital Connects, and I'm honored to fill this role and push forward on our collective mission to close the digital divide in our community. We have a full agenda today and a few great guests joining us. First, we'll cover some updates about our work here at SADC and reiterate why all of our efforts to close the digital divide is vitally important to our community. Then I'll hand it over to our first guest with SA Community Resource Directory to share with us the many benefits of the directory and what that brings to community organizations like your own across our ecosystem. And he'll do a demo of how to access and use the digital connectivity asset map that we have partnered with them to build. Next, we will hear from our partners at the City of San Antonio and Bexar County to share updates on their infrastructure projects that will essentially provide internet access to thousands more households before the end of 2026. And last, and we are very grateful to have representatives from the Federal Communications Commission to join us today to talk about all things ACP and answer questions that you might have during this current wind down period. So let's get started. As many of you know, SA Digital Connects is a public-private community partnership. We work to implement the plan that was built by over 200 local community organizations, 10 private sector funders, Bexar County, and the City of San Antonio. The Digital Equity Plan, now called the Digital Investment Plan, is a commitment to our community to ensure that every household has access to the internet and that they are safe, secure, and confident online. We have a clear mission, and we have committed to successfully implement this plan through the end of 2026. One key goal is to secure local, state, and federal funds that address all the components of the digital divide, which are access in the home to reliable broadband internet, affordable internet service, and adoption of the internet by having the skills and devices that are relevant to users' needs. Many people think that the internet on our smartphones means that we're connected. However, all of us on this call, I'm sure, know that in order to thrive in a digital world, reliable internet is as important as electricity and water in our homes. A second key goal is to facilitate, track, and report on progress on our collective efforts to close the digital divide in San Antonio and Bexar County. This data is important to the story of our community because it will provide valuable information to the many organizations doing digital inclusion work to identify needs and make decisions on future programming. It's also going to be a great resource for potential grant applications and partnerships. But it's also an opportunity for us to celebrate the successes that we have seen and will continue to see as we work together to close the digital divide. There are endless benefits to having affordable access to the internet in our homes and to the devices and skills we need to be successful in our personal and professional pursuits. But I'll still reiterate that making consistent progress toward closing the digital divide means that more and more of our neighbors will have greater economic mobility. Their opportunities to skillfully and confidently participate in the workforce will dramatically increase. They will have increased access to information that will allow them to be more competitive in the job market, and they will have overall better quality of life for every member of their household. It's been found that now 92% of jobs in the US require some sort of digital skills. And jobs that require even just one digital skill will pay 23% more than a job that doesn't require it. So this is not the future of the workforce. This is today's reality. And this is why our team here at SADC and all of you are dedicated to successfully accomplishing this goal in our community. The best way to accomplish this goal within our ecosystem, whether it be access, affordability, or adoption, is through partnerships. From day one of doing this work, I am positive we all learned that it takes collaboration and alignment to make and sustain progress. With that said, we have our partners and good friends on with us from San Antonio Resource Directory to share with us the digital connectivity asset map that can be utilized as a valuable resource and can be added to your toolkits. If you have any questions or would like to follow up with us on this resource, please feel free to be in touch after our call today. All right, we have with us Executive Director Bill Neely. Bill, I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Great, thank you. So for some reason, my name on the participants list is showing up as unknown user. So I'm sorry for that. But my name is Bill Neely. I'm the executive director of an organization called the San Antonio Community Resource Directory. And we are known by our acronym SACRD, SACRD. So we pronounce it SACRD, but we spell it without the E. So sacred.org is the program we run. So I want to give you a quick overview of what SACRD is very briefly, and then talk about the work that we're doing to support San Antonio Digital Connects and the connectivity needs of San Antonio. So let's jump in. I'm showing the wrong screen. Sorry about that. You guys don't really want to read my email, do you? I don't want to read it, so I'm sure you don't either.
I have enough of my own.
Here we go. So this is sacred.org. These are the types of questions. So if you can consider these briefly, you know, do you know the answers to these questions? You know, if you had to find this information, would you know where to go to get it? If you needed, do you know where the food pantries are close to you? If you needed new glasses or dental care, if you're looking for an apartment to rent that will accommodate broken leases and it offers all bills paid, you know, leases. If you need mental health assistance for a child and you can pay with Medicaid, you know where to find these types of services. So SACRD was really designed to build all of this. This is really what we do. It's a free, comprehensive online directory of all of the human services in Greater San Antonio offered by congregations, nonprofits, and government agencies. So there's a couple of important things in this sentence to highlight. One is that it's free. The directory is free to use. It's free to be a part of. So we don't charge anyone to be listed in the directory. It is, and it's also anonymous. So anybody that comes to use the directory, they don't have to register. They don't have to give their email address. It's completely free and anonymous. Low barrier for any user. It's comprehensive in that it includes all human needs. So as Rhia so accurately pointed out, you know, connectivity and in today's world, connectivity and having access to online services is a human service. This is a human need. You need that to access almost every aspect of your life. And so we consider digital connectivity and making sure that people can get online a human need. We have 140 categories total. Several of them overlap with digital connectivity and other electronic services. We also include services offered by any organization, so nonprofit agencies, government programs, faith communities, et cetera. We also, where it makes sense, we include services from small business. Some of those, you know, mostly in the mental health space, some in the connectivity space, but we include when it's appropriate. Those services, when those services are relevant to the need and they are affordable or available on sliding scale or otherwise accessible, we will include those. So the best way to understand this is to just use it. So you come to, whoops, sorry about that. The lights are going off in my room here. You come to sacred.org, SACRD.org. This works on any device, laptop, tablet, mobile device, whatever you have. it will work on your device. You always want to put in your zip code, so that's the most important thing to start with, because whenever we show you resources, I'm always going to show you that something that's close by to your location. If you're looking for a resource, maybe you're looking for a food pantry and you live by Ingram Park Mall, and we show you a food pantry that's by North Star Mall, that's probably not that useful, right? That's too far away. You need something that's closer to you. So we're always going to show you things that are close by. You can then begin searching. So if you're looking for food, for example, you can just enter the need you have, and then you can get a list of a map that shows all the locations of food pantries close by to you, as well as the directory of services here on the side that you can explore. Okay, so you can do this for a variety of human services. You see all the categories we have at the top. We cover, like I said, 140 categories in a variety, in these 10 broad areas up here at the top. So that's SACRD General, and it's a very useful tool. It's used extensively throughout the community by case managers, social workers, volunteers in faith communities, volunteers in food pantries, people that individuals that have a need. They use it for themselves. They use it to help their family members, and so forth. So we're seeing about 11,000 visits a week on the site, and so it is a very extensive and well-used resource for the San Antonio community. So what we've done to help with the digital connectivity is, one, we recognize that in order to use SACRD and to find the services that you need, you have to have connectivity. And so we have included services here to help people get access to Wi-Fi. When the Affordable Connectivity Program was there, we highlighted that service, et cetera. And so what we have done is we've created, in partnership with Digital Connects, we've created a digital connectivity portal. So this is a customized page that lives on SACRD that an individual can come to use to get information about digital connectivity and other resources in their community. This lives on SACRD, but we've also offered it on the Digital Connects website. They have a link here called Asset Map. So when you click on this asset map, you'll see you'll see the digital connectivity asset map here on SACRD. So this is running on SACRD, but it's being presented directly on the Digital Connects website, so that it blends, right into their other media. It's very simple to use this. We have several categories here. You simply come in and indicate what you're looking for. I'm looking for a place that does device lending. Here are 19 programs that offer different devices and other lending to various populations. You can interact with the map to get this information, if whatever you're looking for. You can come back and say, show me a place where I can get free affordable computers. Maybe I'm looking for help with assistive technology. I think you get the idea. Here various classes for training, online safety, etc. So we have over 200 resources related to digital connectivity of some kind that we have identified here and that we have listed in these categories. We also continue to update this. So in addition to updating the 10,000, almost 11,000 programs that we have in SACRD now, we continue to update this collection of resources as well. So we verify the information for every resource on SACRD. Our intention is to verify it at least once a year. Currently, we're actually getting through that more rapidly. We're running at about 7 to 8 months right now, where every resource is reviewed for accuracy. And so when we do that review, we check the listing, we check the website, we call the phone number to make sure it's still in service, and we do our best to verify that the program is still active and in place. If it's not, we take it off of the site. If it is, then we leave it, or we update. If we need to make updates to operating hours or other things, then we can do that. There's also a place on every listing for you to suggest an edit. So in the event that you encounter a mistake on the website, then you can report it, or maybe you're the organization running this program and a change has been made. You can click the suggest an edit button and fill out this form, and that will come right to us so that we can make the update on that resource. We get 3 or 4 of those edits every day Takes us about a day to verify the information and then put it back into the directory. I'll also note that the directory is available in Spanish, and so everything on SACRD is available in Spanish and English from the day it's published. So you can interact with that if you want. It's also the only website in Bexar County that I'm aware of that allows you to use Spanish search words to interact with the content. I'm not sure why we're the only one, but I'm the only one that I'm aware of that allows you to search using Spanish terms in addition to using English terms, if that's your desire. So that's what we have. So there's also a couple of really nice features built in to the listings. If you encounter someone and you want to share the information, maybe they're sitting next to you and they've identified a program that you want them to connect with, there's a little share button here on every resource. You can click that. You can get a nicely formatted printout that they can take with them. That printout has a QR code on it that will that they can scan if they have a connected digital device. You can also text it or email this information to them so that they can have that information. So if you're sitting with someone and helping them to using SACRD to help them find a program, it's very easy to give them something that they can take with them so that they can reconnect with this service at a later date. So I think that's about it. I wanted to, that's a very fast overview of SACRD. It is a massive and very extensive resource. The partnership we have with SA Digital Connects is an important component of what we do, but it is a small piece of what we do. But like I said, we're focused on all human needs and digital connectivity and support for people to be able to access the resources and services online that they need. Is a human service as far as we're concerned. So we do our best to support that. So I want to stop there, and I know that was a really fast overview. I want to stop there and ask for questions. I'll also put my my contact information in the chat. So if anybody wants to follow up with me, you can do that. I can also offer to come to your organization if you want to hear more about SACRD or about the digital connectivity asset map. Then I would be happy to schedule a follow-up call or come to your organization and talk to your staff about how they can use SACRD to benefit their clients. So I'll stop there and take questions if there are any.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, we're very lucky to have y'all as a resource here in San Antonio. So thank you for partnering with us to do this. I am going to ask if you have questions just to keep us moving to do it at the end. I know, Bill, you may have to jump off, but if like you said, if you list your contact information in the chat, that would be perfect. And then I'm also happy to answer questions about the digital connectivity asset map in particular as well. Really appreciate it. All right, I'm going to go back to our slide deck. Let's see if I can get that going. It always takes a minute. Can you see my screen?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Gonna work.
Still nothing.
Not that either, huh?
No.
All right.
Your home
Well,
screen.
let me go ahead and keep us moving. I am going, while I sort of fuss with it, I am going to start to introduce our next presenter, who is coming to us from the city of San Antonio. We're going to shift to the access component of the digital divide. In implementing the digital investment plan, SA Digital Connects has worked to identify the households across our community that did not have broadband internet in their homes. And in 2021, we facilitated a collaborative discussion with local leaders and internet service providers who were already serving some of the neighborhoods in San Antonio and Bexar County. in an effort to kick off a plan for ensuring reliable access to the households that needed it. After a joint RFP in 2022 by the City of San Antonio and Bexar County and a rigorous evaluation period of all the proposals submitted, 2 submissions were selected. We're excited to hear from our partners at the city and the county to share details about each of their projects, both now fully underway, to connect more households and businesses to reliable broadband internet. You might know that before I came to SADC, I was at the City of San Antonio for about 9 years, and in my role as Digital Inclusion Administrator, I had the fortunate opportunity to facilitate the negotiations and begin the execution of the city's contract with AT&T. So I'm pleased that we have and are joined by my former teammate and our valued partner, Lee Middleton, to share more about the progress that has been made. Lee.
Hey everyone, I know Rhia, you might be working on your slide still, so I'll just go ahead and highlight everything that was going to be on the slide anyway. So as Rhia mentioned, the city entered into a contract with AT&T after that RFP period, and it is a total of a $33.5 million contract that we have with AT&T for fiber construction services. It's a public-private partnership, and so AT&T is paying for a large portion of that, and the City of San Antonio is paying for $8.8 million of that $33.5 million contract. And we will reach a minimum of 20,200 households by the end of the contract period. And those are all single-family units. And it includes locations in all 10 council districts. The construction began in December of 2023 and will continue through May of 2025. Fingers crossed that construction is able to be complete by that date, by May 31st of 2025. That's what we're targeting. And that's our schedule right now. We do have 3 areas that are currently green, which means that they are available for customers to obtain service or to upgrade their service. If they have current AT&T service, they can upgrade to fiber in their area. So that's 3 project areas, and they're in council districts 2, 5, and 10 for a total of 661 customer locations green. We have an additional 4,240 locations that are currently under construction, and those are in council districts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. One of the biggest parts of the RFP was to ensure that this was affordable, reliable internet for our families. And so as a part of this contract, AT&T is required to offer a affordable $30 a month plan that was supposed to be in alignment with ACP, but that will be available to all of these customer locations, that $30 a month plan, regardless of AT&T, regardless of ACP funding. And so those are the high points that I wanted to hit. I'm not sure, Rhia, if you want Laura to talk about the county or if you want to take any questions.
Yeah, we can shift to the county, and if there's any questions at the end, I can answer those as well as I can, and let them be in touch with you if they've got any more specific questions. Thanks so much,
great.
Lee. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to share about the contract. We're really excited, and would be absolutely delighted to answer any questions that you get after it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really great to see the progress, and we're looking forward to more to come. So as I mentioned, the RFP was posted by both the city and Bexar County, and we also have great news from the county on their infrastructure project with Spectrum. So we're joined today by Laura Cole, Director of Bibliotech and SADC board member. Thanks for being on with us today, Laura. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Okay, technical difficulty resolved. Thank you very, very much, Rhia. I'm happy to give you an update on where the county is on this project. So at the end of 2023, we executed the initial contract with Spectrum, which covered 11 census tracts, the highest need census tracts that were identified with work through SA Digital Connects. That was a total number of about 8,761 households. There was a cost share agreement with Spectrum, which was really favorable. Spectrum took on 83% of that cost share for the total cost of the project, and the county took on 17% of that cost share. So that was a total cost to the county of $5,416,602. Now that only covered those initial, I guess it was 10 census tracts. The next phase of the project was intended to cover the remaining disconnected counties. So that included suburban cities as well as unincorporated areas. We did a first amendment to that contract, which we executed and took to court for approval last week. That covers an additional 1,793 households for a total of 10,554 households. This cost share is a little bit more for the county just because the runs are longer. It's more difficult and it requires more infrastructure for Spectrum, but it was still a very favorable cost share. So that was 41% for Spectrum and 59% for the county. So that was very, very happy to have that part executed. The other thing that went on at court last week that we're very, very excited about was we received approval to use ARPA funding to hire 6 full-time digital navigators. And those people will be working with our partner organizations in the county at locations in the county, offering digital literacy education, which we know is a critical element to successfully closing the digital divide. So that position is currently open right now on the Bexar County website, and I can put that link in the chat for you all. We will hope to hire and implement these navigators sometime in May and begin that project. They will be available through the county to Bexar County through the end of December of 2026. So we're going to be using the North Star digital literacy curriculum. If anybody is familiar with that, it's a very, very robust, highly respected, highly utilized digital literacy curriculum. So very excited about that.
Great. Thank you so much, Laura. Really appreciate you sharing that update with us, and we look forward to the positive impact that this work will create across Bexar County. Before we move on, I would like to briefly speak to the significance of these initiatives. It was only a couple of years ago that San Antonio and Bexar County had one of the biggest digital divides in an urban city. It's only through this collaborative model, the public-private community partnership model, that we have been able to accomplish this work. Until just recently, when LA County signed on with AT&T, this initiative was the largest locally funded broadband infrastructure project in the county. And we did that together. At completion, we will see this yield over $63 million in local and ISP match funds to connect over 40,000 households in our community before the end of 2026. That's a big deal. We have more work, more homes to connect, but we're well on our way to ensuring that every household has access to reliable broadband internet. So kudos to the effective collaborations and kudos to the teams that are making it happen. So thank you, Laura and Lee, for sharing these wins with us. All right, we have made it to our final guest from the Federal Communications Commission. Kayla is the Deputy Chief in the Consumer Affairs and Outreach Division at the FCC. On the affordability component of the digital divide, we have worked, as many of you have as well, to increase the number of subscribers to the Affordable Connectivity Program. And for those of you who may not know, the ACP is an FCC benefit program that helps households afford the broadband internet that they need for work and school and healthcare and life. The benefit provides a discount of up to $30 per month toward internet service for eligible households. Kayla is here to share more with us about the current state of ACP, share some details on the freeze in enrollments and the subsequent wind down period that we are experiencing now, and to provide some insight into what comes next if ACP is not reappropriated by Congress. Kayla, we're so happy to have you join us today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And hello, everyone who I have not yet met. And thank you for the introduction. So as I am speaking, I am trying to share my screen and hopefully that'll work. If you can see the presentation, someone just let me know.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect, thank you. Now I'm going to go through these slides very quickly to respect everyone's time. The slides are available on our website, fcc.gov/ACP. I will be repeating that a lot through this presentation. I'm actually going to start with some reason. There we go. So I wanted to start by providing some statistics about the importance of this program. Here on the screen, you will see that the Affordable Connectivity Program, there are currently over 23 million total households enrolled in this program. So that's a significant amount of consumers. We have over 1,700 participating providers. The FCC, you may or may not know that the FCC does regulate providers, and this was not something that we were requiring them to do, and yet over 1,700 providers have agreed to provide services to consumers. And the next point I wanted to point out, the Affordable Connectivity Program, as it was described before, also had an additional benefit that some providers that were participating offered of a discount of up to $100 off a laptop, desktop computer, or tablet, as long as the consumer or the household paid anywhere between $10 but no more than $50. So the total devices that were claimed through this program is around 12.4 million devices, which is a huge number. We are now in what's called the ACP wind down period, unfortunately, because if we do not get additional funding from Congress, we have started to roll down the program. You may recall that this program, Congress allotted $14.2 billion and asked the FCC to stand up this program of the Affordable Connectivity Program. On July 11th, we issued an order detailing what the wind down process is, and it included a lot of information that's not limited to directing providers to send notices to ACP households regarding the end of the program and any information about continuation of services. It also provides further announcements from the FCC and the Universal Service Administrative Company, USAC for short. USAC is the ACP administrator, and they, along with providers, have been and will continue to provide information to consumers. And this also included information about the establishment on the enrollment freeze. So what is the enrollment freeze? The enrollment freeze was by February 7th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Consumers that had submitted an application, whether it was a paper or electronic, had it approved by USAC and also enrolled with a provider to have their benefit placed on their bill, would continue to receive the ACP benefit during the wind down period and the freeze. If a household tried to submit information starting on February 8th. Unfortunately, no new ACP applications are being accepted into the program. Again, barring additional information from Congress, April 2024 has been announced as the last month that enrolled households will receive the full benefit, with May of 2024 there being a partial discount for some enrolled households. I don't have the information on this slide, but if you go to fcc.gov on our headlines page, there was a public notice issued on March 19th where it gives you estimated rates for what the May rates will be from the participating providers. Households that are de-enrolled from the program for things like failing to use their ACP supported service, if they were found that this was one of the case, cannot reapply for the program no longer, as we are not accepting new applications due to the enrollment freeze. If we do not receive additional funding from Congress after May of 2024, the ACP program will no longer support any benefits to enrolled households. There is impact on households regarding this program. The ACP stopped accepting new enrollments on February 7th, as I explained. We're still waiting for additional funding from Congress, and a lot of the things led to the next part, which is a 60-day public notice. On March 4th, the FCC released a public notice announcing the same information, that absent from additional funding, April 2024 is the last fully funded month, with more information about the May 2024 partial reimbursement. Three very important elements of this is: one, it provides guidance on the May 2024 partial reimbursement month. I'll talk a little bit more about opting in and opting out, what it refers to as this program goes. Providers may only claim the discounts that was passed through the ACP household. And of course, there is the information about in May, they must plan to pass through only a reduced benefit to households that have opted in. And again, I will explain a little bit more about that in a moment. There are the second thing that this very important 60-day notice includes is reminders for ACP providers of the notices they must send to households. They must send 3. They can definitely send more than that. The first notice, the initial notice, was sent by January 25th of this year, informing households that the ACP is ending and what the impact would be on their bills. The second notice was just recently sent March 19th, March 19th, again, including information about ACP ending and the impact on the service and bills. And the final notice, though we don't have a date yet, will coincide with the last bill or billing cycle in which the full ACP discount is applied. Very important, FCC, as I mentioned, regulates providers, and there are provider requirements in the 60-day notice. Here is kind of an overview of what they are. It's to remind ACP households of their right to change their service or opt out of continuing their service after ACP ends. Notify ACP households about any partial discount that will be applied in May 2024. State in writing that the household will be subject to the provider's fully undiscounted rates and general terms and conditions after the last bill, that any partial benefit is applied, and send notices in a manner that is acceptable to persons with disabilities. Now, there are other recommendations that we strongly make. I'm only going to pick one from here. It's to send notices in a format and language that is consistent with any consumer express preferences. That means that, for example, if a household said, I'd like to receive my information in an email, that is how the household will be notified. And the third important point in the 60-day notice is that it provides guidance on consumer protections for households that continue during the wind down and in some instances after ACP ends. We just recently released information, a fact sheet that talks about consumer protections. So if you go to fcc.gov/ACP, you will find that resource there. And under the providing of consumer protections, 3 of the highlights are that a household can transfer the ACP discount it can terminate, provider can terminate service after 90 days when there's failure from the household to pay for their service, and early termination fees. And I'm going to read this one because it is a lot. If a household entered into a service plan with an extended service contract and applied their ACP discount to that service plan, the provider cannot charge the household an early termination fee for terminating that service contract early, even after the household stops receiving the ACP discount. And an additional point to this is if a household was paying for installments on one of the devices that I mentioned before, they may be required to pay off the device prior to canceling their service. So what should ACP households do? I'm not going to go through this entire slide, but there are two things I want to point out. The household should definitely look and read through any information that they receive from their provider and or USAC, carefully reviewing for information to see what next steps they're being advised or who to contact if they have more information. And the other thing a household can do is consider if they are eligible for the Lifeline program, which is another government program that offers a benefit of up to $9.25 per month, $34.25 for households on qualifying travel lands that can provide a discount off monthly phone, internet, or bundled services bill. And there's a lot of information on this program at lifelinesupport.org. ACPNs, I mentioned opt-in, opt-out. What does opt-in mean for the purposes of this program? It could be that a household previously agreed to continue internet service from their company. It could be that they paid for internet service from their internet company before they started receiving the ACP discount, or they currently contribute to the cost of their internet even with the ACP discount. And what does opting out mean? Well, opting out means that a household will not continue to receive internet service if they did not previously agree to do so after ACP ends, or they have not paid the internet service for the service that they have now. If a consumer does not remember if they opted in or opted out, one of the best resources to find this out from is to directly contact their internet service provider for more information. We have a call to action. Again, the most important thing is please share this information that we have provided to all of you today with any household that comes to you asking about, well, what do I do next? We have a lot of resources available at fcc.gov/ACP, and USAC also has information. This last slide will kind of summarize a whole list of resources. fcc.gov/ACP for a lot of the information you see here, including the results of a survey that the FCC conducted in December. The results were published in February. There's a URL that you can visit, but if you want to link to that, fcc.gov/ACP. We also still have speakers available for requests on the ACP wind down. Email acpspeakers@fcc.gov. And if anyone has any complaints or issues about their billing or service with ACP, please note that the Consumer Help Center for the Consumer Complaint Center for FCC is still available. You can go to consumercomplaints.fcc.gov. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to answering questions.
Thanks so much, Kayla. Yes, we have covered all of our content. We're very excited to not fill the whole hour and give you some of your time back, but we're also willing to stay on if you've got any questions. Otherwise, we want to say thank you for joining us today. We are very appreciative of the close partnerships and collaborations that we have with each of you, and we're thankful to have you as partners toward our collective mission. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. Please keep a lookout for a follow-up email. We will share this recording as well as the slides that we presented and the slides that the FCC presented in a follow-up email, and stay tuned for more information about future Community Connects meetings. Thank you so much.